I wanted to do this old TSR game, but I found out the game is essentially just 3.5, but future Magic Apocalypse, I guess. But I'm not going to review this. Funny thing is, it seems Hasbro still has the legal rights to it, but doesn't want to do anything with it. I actually found out about this from a terrible D&D game from 2011.
Meh. Doesn't sound interesting unless you reviewed that video game.
No, I'm not a video game reviewer. In all honesty, I don't even play that many video games anymore. I still play the original launch version of Diablo 2, for the love of God. But as much as I try to play old and bad versions of games, I can't get myself to finish them, because some video games just piss me off.
Yeah, makes sense. I remember that short time period you tried streaming from me here and I think you only finished one game, Silent Hill, right?
Yeah, I think that's it. I'm just not a streamer kind of guy. I've thought about doing one where I do 5 push-ups every time I die in a game, but that's going to have to wait until I get back home, since I don't really have a camera in the 42nd millennium.
Yeah, you don't seem like the streamer type of person. Couldn't see you doing that sort of goofy stuff.
Let's be honest, goofiness is right up my alley.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying you don't do goofy stuff. You just don't seem like a streamer kind of goofy.
You mean performing public crimes, recording it, and then getting surprised when the police slap me for showing off my crimes?
Wait, they did that back then? I thought the stories of Somali were just stories.
Wait, your generation still remembers this situation? I don't think that's something to be proud of, really.
According to the Arbites, he is still serving time as a servitor.
That is very concerning, but whatever. Your reality isn't my reality, so he might get out with no problems. Not likely, but possible. Whatever.
You good there? You seem kind of defeated. Look, I know I'm not human and can't understand human emotions, but I can at least listen.
I'm fine, just homesick. I want to smell the air of my garden again, but I'm hoping that'll be within the next month or two. We'll see, I guess.
That actually reminds me of something. I saw what you were painting. Dean Steeler is going to hate you, and I'm all for it.
Yeah. Ain't it great? But let's get started on this video. Fight, the fighting game. A TTRPG released in, well, this version says it was copyrighted in 2010, so I assume this is the first edition of this game. Unfortunately, this goes into insane details, just looking at the character creation section of the table of contents. This game looks like a Soul Calibur type game, but with hand-to-hand combat in mind instead of weapons combat, though weapons do play in. I want to point out that looking at the table of contents, there's a blood types subchapter. Hell, the table of contents is 3 pages. But let's get into this. So, looking at the introduction page, it looks like you're some supernatural superhuman with some Japanese movie magic stuff. So, this is a weeb game. I'll point out that these American-made games based off Japanese aesthetics tend to be horribly designed and bloated to sin. So, it goes on for 2 pages about background, going further into combat styles and supernatural shenanigans. Looking at blood type, it doesn't go into positives or negatives, but this is some star sign shit. Doesn't look important. So, stats. You've got strength, speed, and stamina as your basic qualities, with other minor qualities, including item stat 2, which maybe a bit much there, honestly. You've also got weaknesses and quirks, which seem to be closely tied. The weaknesses seem to be literal, while quirks seem to be limitations to your powers. Skills are obvious, but then you get special and super moves, which seem to be different. Special looks to be odd sort of methods, like grappling under the leg and throwing someone over your head, while super moves are superhuman capabilities. Glory looks to be equivalent to the experience points to spend on abilities and such. Bonuses are bonuses, but then there's a life bar instead of a hit point total. Then fighting spirit, which seems to essentially be everything beforehand added together. Dear God, we're almost at the end of this video already, and I still don't know how it plays. So it looks like you have 2 of your qualities, strength, speed, or stamina, at 1, while the last will be at 0, or you can have 1 of them at 2, 1 at 0, and 1 at -1. Personally, I recommend the latter option, honestly. That actually made me curious about how the dice system works. It appears to be an evolving dice system, with a bit more when you get to higher levels. You'll need to essentially look at the table to play this game when getting started, or figuring out what dice you need to roll. But skills are still a thing. They fall into 3 categories: combat skills, mechanical skills, and narrative skills. Then combat skills are obvious: offensive and defensive fighting. Makes sense. Mechanical skills are a bit more questionable. Looks like they're essentially the things that don't fit into the other things. Not sure how they work off of name, but they're still narrative skills, which you'd think would be your social skills, but then you've got some other things in this category, like acrobatics and athletics and similar. You know, this is a weird game with a lot in the book and somehow has absolutely nothing at all. And you know what's worse? I still got a good bit of time in this video, but I really don't have much to even talk about, really. I guess I should probably give this a score. It's a whole lot of nothing that has the potential to be more. Good thing they did do more. There's a 2nd edition that released in 2020. I'm hoping to get my hands on that in the near future in order to learn what they changed and learn from the first attempt. As for score, I'm gonna give this a 75. It's generally fine, but it doesn't have a whole lot to it. There's definitely design for it with weebs in mind, first and foremost, really. I don't even know how the combat feels, as there's a whole chapter on just how combat works. It might be great, but I don't have the time, energy, or care to go into that and find out. What, yeah, give me my paint. I got a Darren model to code up.
What? Oh, yeah, sure. Hey, can I paint some models too? I saw you got a full box of Necromunda stuff waiting to be painted after you base coated them. Can I do that?
Actually, yeah, that'd be great. I appreciate it. Thank you. Now, for the dozen or so people that watch this video, shove off.